All right, John, from Meat Rocket 6979. Do you think now that Chimaev has the title? Meat Rocket.
I don't even want to think about why he came up with that name.
He's actually quite a bit in our comments, basically sticking up for me mainly. But he's in there actually.
Well, he must be a Meat Rocket.
He's awesome, man. I love him.
I love
it. Do you think that Chimaev now that Chimaev has a title, he'll play it safe every fight, Bilal style, just to hold on to that title? Bilal didn't play it safe to hold on to his title. He lost his title, his first title defense, because he didn't play it safe at all.
Thank you very much. He fought another man's fight. He did exactly what people said he wouldn't do and what the UFC would want him to do, and that's stand up and fight with a guy that's a stand-up fighter. So did Bilal play it safe? Fuck no.
No.
I look and say, is Khamzat's going to always stick with his best skills, and his best here you have we call it a MO, modus operandi. This is your normal pattern of activity. And so what's his normal pattern of activity? He takes people down within the first 20 seconds. He took DDP down within the first 5 seconds. He has got a fucking clear set pattern that he uses in his fights. And the first thing is he's going to shoot from across the cage, and he covers distance very well. And he's going to try to take you down. That's not going to change. That's who he is. The only time you could really sit there and say that he didn't do that was against Gerald Streebrandt. Why?
Gerald Streebrandt. What the fuck did you get? Gerald
Streebrandt? I just watched the whole thing on Streebrandt and everything. And so, I'm sorry, Gerald Mershart. Dude, that one just popped out like, boom.
That Gerald. Is so old.
It was the Gerald. It was. I was watching. I saw you, and I was like, "Oh, look at how young you were."
Yeah.
Then I looked at me and said, "Shit, look at how young I was." But Gerald Mershart was the only guy that he really didn't do that, and he went out and knocked him out within 15, 16 seconds. So you look and you go, he's got a normal pattern. It's not going to change because that's what has put him where he's at. That's who he is as a fighter. If you don't like it, that's okay, but you got to say he's effective with it.
Yeah, he's not going to change what he does. No. He's going to wrestle, and when he gets tired, he'll be forced to stand. But I think because he was so dominant against DDP, like he made it look so easy. Gilbert Burns gave him bigger fits. It was more difficult. So no, I don't think he changes anything. I think he just continues to do what he does. If he can't get takedowns, then he'll be forced to stand. And they'll be checking his chin. Excuse me. Meat Rocket 6979. Hopefully that answers your question. Can anyone, let's see, user PV2DE3DE4Q. Why would you do that to us? Why? Can anyone realistically beat Khamzat right now? Now that's he's proven to be able to fight for 25 minutes. RDR in theory would give him the fits. Or possibly eventually Bo Nickel, in my opinion.
Okay. Bo Nickel's a ways off from that. So let's just let's put it out there. But absolutely, every fighter, and this is exactly what you were just talking about, every fighter has someone that creates problems for them. And that's we talking about, look, stylistically, that's a tough matchup for him. Who is it that gave Khamzat the biggest problem? It was Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns gave him fits as far as he was comfortable being on the ground with him. He was able to nullify a lot of what Khamzat does. And then when it got back to the feet, he had the power that Khamzat had to respect the stand-up of Gilbert Burns. And Gilbert was absolutely successful in a lot of the things that he did in that fight. He gave Khamzat a hell of a fight. So are there people out there in the 185-pound weight class that can do that? Yeah, now there are. And, the two guys that are going to face off here, Kai Bahalo against Imavov, that both of those guys can give him problems. Because first off, Imavov can wrestle and wrestle well. His stand-up is super clean. And if you're looking at Kai Bahalo, his stand-up is absolutely at a place where it's going to give Khamzat some problems, and his ability to be like Gilbert Burns on the ground, if the fight goes there, and nullify a lot of what Khamzat does. It's there. So there's two guys right there that can give, Khamzat a lot of problems. Then you bring in RDR. Does Khamzat want to go to the ground with him? Because he is going to be in a position where someone matches up absolutely with everything that he can do on the ground. RDR matches up and sometimes eclipses what Khamzat can do on the ground. So he's the dangerous person on the ground. Do I want to be on the ground with him? Maybe that alters that fight. Then you can take a look at guys like Anthony Hernandez. I know people don't give Fluffy enough credit.
Yeah.
Fluffy's the kind of guy, as far as his ability to be in the stand-up and cause problems, because he throws from funky angles and he's good. He's tough. He's my big Nick Diaz, and then his ground game is so good. He can be on the ground with Khamzat, and his gas tank is so large that if he just nullifies like he did against Adolfo Vieira and nullifies him for a while, and gets Khamzat in a place where he's had to work so hard, and now he's not as effective with the takedowns, and now Anthony Hernandez starts to light him up. I think Anthony Hernandez has a good shot of being competitive with Khamzat. A lot of people are going to say I'm wrong. I think he does. He's just that guy.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Anthony Hernandez has a good shot. RDR, I'm not fully convinced on. As much as I like him, I think he's talented. He'll give him some troubles, but what I saw in the Whitaker fight was that he was able to stand over RDR and land shots from the ground and pound position. So if RDR, or if Khamzat decides just to kind of like stay back and kind of put pressure over the feet and try to land shots, I mean, Khamzat's going to be able to potentially do a lot of damage from that top position. Doesn't have to go into his guard. He can just stay from the top position and work from that butterfly or from outside, big shots, like almost like how Fedor used to do it.
Yeah.
He would kind of stand over you and land big shots, loopy shots around, and then he'd throw your legs to the side, land big shots, and then come back up.
But you also got to think about the fact that RDR is very good with his knees up the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Khamzat comes up the middle a lot.
Yeah, he also shoots pretty low, though, John.
He does. Absolutely.
RDR
totally
being
right.
6'4", somewhere in there, 6'4", 6'5".
He's
6'4", tall, long. But in that clinch, if he can fight jockey for position, I mean, he can do some knees to the body as well in that clinch area there.
Yep.
It does make for a fight that we can have discussions about. There's a lot of ways that we can take RDR, but I got to be honest, John, I saw a big enough sample size against DDP. DDP had no answer. And DDP makes every fight extremely difficult for his opponents. It wasn't difficult at all for Khamzat. So if he can, I think the 185-pound weight class is perfect for him. We saw that there's no cardio issues. It was just kind of seemed like the weight cut. And then now all the rest of these guys, they all got their hands full. Doesn't mean Chimaev can't be beat, but they all got their hands full.
Anyone can be beat.
Rob M80, hi fellas. In hindsight, was Chimaev missing weight against Nate Diaz a blessing in disguise? Nate would have got ragdolled badly. It would have been nasty. It would have been really bad.
I look at that fight, and if I was going to be honest about the way I thought it was going to be when it happened, well, before it did not happen. I thought that Khamzat would end up taking. Nate's not a good defensive wrestler. He ends up going down. He would have been taken down, and I really think that Khamzat would have ended up opening up cuts, and that's how the fight would have ended. It would have been where Nate, he's working at looking for a submission. I don't think he would have found it, and I do think that Khamzat would have, in the end, opened up a lot of that scar tissue that Nate has. And eventually they would have stopped it off of that. So, was it a good thing for Nate? Yeah, I think so. He got Tony Ferguson instead, and that worked out well for him, and set him off on a win and stuff. And that's what he was looking for, and kind of like it.
Yeah, the only chance that I gave Nate was catching Khamzat in some sort of guillotine, because he's got such long arms, catching him in that front, rear naked, or the guillotine, or something along those lines. That's the only chance I gave him. I didn't give him any other chance. He's not physically strong. He's not fast. He's not explosive.
Yeah.
it's just he's got a really good guillotine. It gets put on quick. I mean, ask a kid in New Orleans that went face down, ass up, trying to fight him in the street, right? Like I've grappled Nate, and I've fought Nate, both of them, and his guillotine is nasty. It's nasty. It gets put on quick, and it gets tight quick, and he's got long arms to go.
He's got a good triangle off the ground. He sets his triangle up well. He's quick with it.
It's a little slow.
He locks it up well as far as his legs are so long that he catches it, and he catches it quick. There's pressure right away. So,
but in that situation, John, like, hey, you can get caught in that. But then you take a look at Chimaev. He's physically like strong enough to pick him up and power bomb him.
I agree.
It could have been very nasty. So, but I understand what you're saying. Element, the best hydration drink in the business. I had citrus earlier today. It's actually fantastic. And now they're making the lemonade salt in the can. Cannot wait. So if you guys use that link down below in the descriptions, they'll send you a bonus package with every single purchase. That's compliments of the Wayne In Podcast. So hope you guys enjoy that.